back!
Protect yourself from the Millennium Bug, tonight at 6.
On World News Tonight this Sunday, one of the world's greatest filmmakers has died.
Will you stop, Dave?
Tonight, we remember Stanley Kubrick's visual legacy. She was cast as the villain in Monica's interview. Now she's answering the charges. And country star George Jones in critical condition. Yet more evidence that driving and dialing don't mix.
From ABC, this is World News Tonight, Sunday.
Good evening, I'm Kevin Newman in for Carol Simpson, and we begin tonight with the passing of one of the century's most provocative filmmakers. Stanley Kubrick's movies were usually profound, often masterpieces, and challenging, if not a little puzzling at first. He died today at the age of 70 at his home in England and left a legacy of startling images. Here's ABC's Bill Blakemore.
His strokes of genius stunned your eyes and ears. He could make you see the dry precision of space maneuvers as a great waltz. Kubrick's movies set the standard. He invented the way we now see the universe, the beauty and the loneliness of outer space. 2001, made in 1968, hasn't aged at all. His mysterious monolith still as powerful and inexplicable as when it first appeared.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Psychopathic computer HAL, only one of many Kubrick inventions that instantly became milestones of our culture. Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, was another. In 1964, it warned everyone with the darkest possible humor that mankind's greatest enemy was still mankind.
Here's Johnny!
Mankind's inhumanity to man was his constant theme, but always in ways that surprised you. His unique American ghost story, The Shining, boiled it all down to, as he said, a simple story about a man who tries to kill his family. In his great war movies about World War I, about Vietnam, he exposed the hypocrisy and folly of war. M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U-S-E. The ultimate perfectionist, he took 5 or 6 years to make a movie. He'd reshoot a scene 70 or 80 times till it had every nuance he wanted. But those who worked with him adored him. He shunned publicity, rarely gave interviews. A survey of filmmakers recently voted Kubrick one of the 3 greatest of all time, along with Hitchcock and Orson Welles.
Anyone who has ever been privileged to direct a film also knows that although it can be like trying to write War and Peace in a bumper car in an amusement park, when you finally get it right, there are not many joys in life that can equal the feeling.
Kubrick grew up in New York City, never went to college, just started making movies. After Spartacus in 1960, he became so disillusioned with Hollywood, he worked the rest of his life in England. Though Kubrick forced us to see the worst of human nature, he did it with such originality, said the critics, that he was also telling us and showing us that we're capable of creating great beauty. He left us one more movie just finished, due out this summer. Bill Blakemore, ABC News, New York.
There is other news this Sunday. If the road to winning the White House is a long courtship with voters, then the flirtation is well underway. Today, George W. Bush became the latest Republican to take the first formal step, announcing an exploratory committee that opens a door to fundraising. ABC's Mike Von Fremd on the candidate many consider an early frontrunner.
Today, the Texas governor introduced the people he has chosen to serve as the brain trust of what is looking more and more like a Bush presidential campaign.
The men and women on this stage represent the best of the Republican Party. I am grateful they will take time to help me make this decision.
Bush picked a diverse group, including women, minorities, and congressional leaders. The elder statesman of the group was Ronald Reagan, Secretary of State.
And when we get through with all of the exploring, the answer's got to be yes.
But the Texas governor did not select any of his father's inner circle of political advisors. Are you hesitant in asking your father for advice on how to win the White House?
America, should I choose to run, will know it's George W. Bush who's going to be the president.
Bush is enjoying the kind of attention his rivals can only dream about. Today, 78 news organizations from as far away as Japan came to cover this event. His frontrunner status now makes him a target, and his life is about to be scrutinized. At church last night, he gently alluded to the fact that he has not led a perfect life.
I grew up in the church, but I didn't always walk the walk. There came a point in my life when I felt something was missing on the inside.
Bush's biggest advantage right now is his fundraising team. One advisor estimates that they will raise $10 million by the end of the month. So while his opponents crisscross across the country trying to raise campaign funds, Bush can stay at home and watch the dollars pour in. Kevin?
All right, Mike. ABC's Mike Von Fremd in Austin, Texas tonight. Monica Lewinsky continued her fundraising campaign to pay her legal bills. She's on a book-selling tour in Britain. And the villain of her story, Linda Tripp, in her first appearance since Monica's interview, contradicted much of what Miss Lewinsky had to say. Here's ABC's Tim O'Brien.
Monica Lewinsky arrived at London's Heathrow Airport tonight to the familiar clatter of news photographers.
Back, you need to photograph, just move back.
Tomorrow, bagpipes will herald her arrival at the famed Harrods department store, where Lewinsky plans to plug her new book and perhaps even pay a tribute to the late Princess Di. Surreal, a fantasy? That's how former confidant Linda Tripp described Lewinsky's new book today when she appeared on ABC's This Week.
I see it as fiction. I see it as fable, fantasy, farce, and fairy tale.
In her book, Lewinsky takes sharp aim at independent counsel Ken Starr and the FBI agents who initially confronted her at this Virginia hotel last year. She says they were abusive, violated her rights. Tripp, who was there, saw it differently.
They treated her with the utmost professionalism given the circumstances.
What about Tripp defended taping Lewinsky and said had she done a better job documenting their conversations, Vernon Jordan, the president's old friend, might be facing obstruction of justice charges for trying to get Lewinsky to lie under oath.
There would be no doubt in any of your minds that there was complicity in ensuring that Monica Lewinsky received a job for her silence.
Tripp says she still may write a book to set the record straight, but that Monica Lewinsky would only be a small part of it. Hillary Clinton, on the other hand, would not.
Mrs. Clinton, in my opinion, was complicit in the time that I was there in virtually every scandal.
Among other things, Tripp says Mrs. Clinton has not been truthful about her role in the 1993 firings at the White House Travel Office. In Tripp's taped conversations with Lewinsky, there is a reference to another potential witness against the president named Juanita. Tripp said it is not Juanita Broderick, who recently accused the president of having raped her 20 years ago.
I think at this point in time, Sam, I'd rather just say that it was not Juanita Broderick.
So who is the new Juanita? Perhaps one more tantalizing breath in a scandal many had hoped would breathe its last. Tim O'Brien, ABC News, Washington.
And not far from the White House, D.C. police say Health and Human Services Secretary Donna Shalala helped catch 3 suspected robbers today. Shalala had just withdrawn money from this ATM machine in Georgetown when a man asked her for money. Police say Shalala fell to the ground and, quote, screamed her lungs out. She also wrote down the license number of the escape vehicle. Still ahead on World News Tonight this Sunday, why cell phones may be one of the biggest dangers on the road. Another balloon team ends its dream. And bringing one of the key figures of a murderous regime to justice.
This is World News Tonight, Sunday. Brought to you by 10-10-3-2-1.
Hey, better, we see better.
Ball.
Hey, thanks for telling me about 10-10-3-2-1.
Oh, you're using it, huh?
All the time. I call my folks in Seattle, my brother in Philly.
Hey, I have people in Philly.
Stay here, I too. I wasn't ready. Hey, did you really save much with 10-10-3-2-1?
Oh, yeah.
50% on calls over 10 minutes.
Wow, half off? That's huge.
Sure is.
I'll be back.
10-10-3-2-1. Who doesn't want to save 50%?
A new century is coming, and with it, 1,000 questions. Will your family ever be in harm's way? Will a small town in Texas be hit with a hurricane? Will your daughter ever need a new kind of blood treatment? We have no crystal ball for the world that awaits. Just one promise. We'll be there.
Put on your best suit. You are cordially invited to Lobster Fest at Red Lobster. Indulge in all of your lobster favorites at the most casual prices of the year. Escape to Red Lobster for Lobster Fest today.
Sure is out to clear things up with Sure Clear Dry.
Looks like a white solid.
Yeah, but it's clearly better because when you put it on,
It's clear.
so what could you do with Sure Clear Dry?
Lift up my arms.
Pulse it in.
Sure Clear Dry, sure protection for the real world.
Country music legend George Jones is in critical condition tonight in Tennessee. Doctors say he is improving. Jones was in a car accident yesterday near his home, and as ABC's Judy Muller reports, how that accident happened is a warning to us all.
I don't need your rocking chair.
When country singer George Jones crashed his car into this bridge abutment near Nashville, he was talking on the car phone to his stepdaughter. His accident may give new ammunition to lawmakers across the country who are hoping to ban the use of handheld phones while driving.
The driver would receive a citation for something that would be stronger than driving in the improper lane, but not as severe as, say, reckless driving.
Such legislation is now pending in 12 states, fueled by a rash of accidents involving drivers who were talking on their phones and not paying attention to the road. A 1997 study in the New England Journal of Medicine found the risk of having a motor vehicle collision was about 4 times as high when drivers were speaking on their cell phones. In fact, the risk is similar to driving with a blood alcohol level at the threshold of the legal limit. The study also concluded that speakerphones in the car did not appear to be safer than handheld telephones. But many motorists, especially in states like California, have come to rely on the cell phone in their cars.
With my job, I'm always traveling in the car to and from client meetings, and I like to use the phone. I need to use the phone.
Banning car phones at this point, they say, is unfair.
It would be difficult to do unless you legislate out smoking cigarettes or changing CDs or putting on lipstick.
But victims of car accidents involving cell phone use think cracking down on the practice is long overdue.
I'm so frightened when I drive and I see people on the phone. They don't realize what damage they can do.
Safety experts suggest that motorists could cut down on the accident rate by at least pulling over before dialing or talking on the phone. That way, both the hands and the brain are focused on one thing at a time. No one disputes that car phones are invaluable when calling for emergency help after an accident. The challenge is to keep them from being the cause of the accident in the first place. Judy Muller, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Winter weather is still causing some challenges tonight. Let's show you Rochester, New York, which has had more than 3 feet of snow since Thursday. The National Guard is helping to get rid of it there. And New Jersey, 1 person died this morning when icy conditions led to a huge pileup involving 30 cars and 2 tractor trailers. While weather on the other side of the world has forced yet another balloon team trying to make it around the world to ditch, this time in waters near Japan. Here's ABC's Mark Mullen.
The pilots were skilled, the balloon was sturdy, the journey well planned. But in the end, bad weather was too much for the British cable and wireless balloon, which plowed into the Pacific Ocean 50 miles off the coast of Japan. The crew, Andy Elson and Colin Prescott, set an endurance record of 18 days aloft, but their dream to be the first ever to circle the Earth was not to be.
When we went into the cloud, it was snowing, and the snow on top of the balloon made it very heavy, so the balloon came down. So, finish.
This was the latest of almost 20 bids to set one of the world's last great aviation records, and one of the most coveted. In fact, 12 days after the cable and wireless balloon left southern Spain on their failed attempt, another balloon, the Breitling Orbiter 3, departed Switzerland. That balloon crossed the Middle East today.
Once you've got those jet streams, there's absolutely no reason why you can't go straight across the Pacific without too much interruption, we hope.
Even before the crew of the Orbiter 3 took off, they were hopeful, having secured permission to cross over China, unlike the British balloonists who had to circumvent the country, losing time. The only thing that stands in the way of the Swiss team is the fact that nobody has ever completed the round-the-world journey yet. Mark Mullen, ABC News, New York.
The Coast Guard today called off the search for survivors from 2 boats that sank yesterday while trying to smuggle Haitians into the U.S. Only 3 people were rescued. As many as 39 are believed to have drowned. Coming up, the last leader of Cambodia's notorious Khmer Rouge is under arrest.
Try to remember now. Where to look for a ginkgo biloba to help aid memory. Nature's Resource knows you should look for one with terpenes and flavone glycosides for memory help. And unlike some, Nature's Resource guarantees the potency and purity you need. Make your herbal resource Nature's Resource. Follow the knowledge.
I am the changing face of real estate. I am an ear, an eye. I am a guide, a guarantee. I am Coldwell Banker, and I will find you a home.
Call your local office and discover what real estate should be.
Frequent heartburn. Is it worse at night, especially after dinner?
Mm-hmm.
Have you treated it, even changed your diet, but still suffered 2 or more days a week?
Mm-hmm.
Has your heartburn been a persistent problem for you?
Uh-huh.
Your heartburn may be due to a potentially serious condition called acid reflux disease. Ask your doctor about Prilosec. For many people, 1 capsule daily provides 24-hour complete heartburn relief. Ask your doctor about Prilosec and if it's right for you. The most common side effects are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. Want 24-hour heartburn relief with 1 daily dose? Ask your doctor about the 24-hour complete heartburn relief that's possible with Prilosec.
What will it take to build this company? To get ready for prime time on the web.
How can we do everything a little faster? Okay, a lot faster.
When they're looking for answers, more CIOs, more MIS managers, more people, look to Compaq than to any other computer company in the world.
Limits? What limits?
Compaq. Better answers.
In Kosovo, commanders of the ethnic Albanian rebels met today and sent some frustrating news to the Clinton administration. It now looks like the Kosovar Albanians will not sign the peace agreement with the Serbs until later in the week. Yesterday, the administration said the rebels had promised to sign that agreement today. The Dayton Peace Accord, already in place in Bosnia, may be threatened tonight by the Bosnian Serbs. Both moderate and hard-line Bosnian Serb leaders met today to denounce a ruling this past week which took control of the Bosnian town of Brčko out of Serb hands. The last of the architects of Cambodia's killing fields is in custody tonight. As many as 2 million Cambodians were murdered in the 1970s under the brutal regime of the Khmer Rouge. Tam Mok was the last leader of the Khmer Rouge still at large until yesterday. Here's ABC's Jim Laurie.
He was known as the one-legged butcher, by most accounts a ruthless killer deeply implicated in the mass genocide of the late 1970s. 2 years ago, he turned against the #1 Khmer Rouge leader, Pol Pot, in his dying days. Tam Mok was captured yesterday along the border with Thailand, where up until recently he commanded Khmer Rouge troops still terrorizing Western Cambodia. In Phnom Penh today, a government spokesman said Tam Mok, being held at this detention center, would be tried as a war criminal, an idea nearly everyone supports. He was the worst person in the world after Pol Pot, says this man. Tam Mok went on killing even after Pol Pot died. The capture came as a United Nations report recommended an international tribunal to try remaining Khmer Rouge leaders for crimes against humanity, a plan backed by the U.S.
We are encouraged that we now have the opportunity to bring one of the most notorious war criminals in the recent past to justice, and we will now be focusing our efforts on working with the Cambodian government to that end.
But Cambodian officials say they want to handle the trial of Tam Mok on their own. The government has recently made its peace with other Khmer Rouge leaders in exchange for promises of loyalty to Phnom Penh. Still, others see a trial as essential for the nation to move on.
If we can have a trial, especially international, from the International Tribunal, It gave a very good message to Cambodian people.
A message that even if war crimes were committed more than 20 years ago, there still can be justice for the victims. Jim Laurie, ABC News, Hong Kong.
And when we come back, how one community is preparing to battle the Y2K bug.
The Mitsubishi Eclipse GS Sports Package. Guaranteed attention, available now.
I am the changing face of real estate. I'm an ear, and I'm a voice. I am Coldwell Banker. I'm a commitment, a promise. I am a guarantee. I am Coldwell Banker, and I will sell your home.
Call your local office and discover what real estate should be.
This is not like any other antacid I've ever had.
You won't believe your mouth.
It dissolves in your mouth. It's just like, shabam.
Introducing Maalox Quick Dissolve Chewables, a whole new kind of calcium antacid for heartburn.
Dissolves immediately, swallow, done.
Boom.
New Maalox Quick Dissolve Chewables dissolve faster and more completely than Tums.
It's not gritty. It's not pieces. Goodbye, grit.
New Maalox Quick Dissolve Chewable Tablets. Quick dissolve your heartburn away.
I'm a happy man.
From 1 Minute Maalox.
Nancy will have to see from near to far almost 1,000 times today. Her eyes will focus on 40 labels, 60 charts, and 100 smiles. And in all that time, she'll never once think about the science that allows her to focus instantly at all distances. Nancy just knows that her Verilux lenses help her see better. And for her, that's a very comforting thought. Verilux, the comfort of better vision. For more information, call toll-free 1-800-VERILUX.
In 1930, Albert Einstein said he never thinks of the future. It comes soon enough. Well, that may be bad advice for 1999. The Red Cross and some U.S. senators have advised Americans to prepare for the new year as they would for a hurricane. So tonight we launch a timely news series with a look at one island community that is taking the Y2K computer bug very seriously. ABC's Deborah Wong has our first Millennium Countdown.
It's a picturesque island refuge, just the kind of place people come to get away from the stresses of modern life. But even in this peaceful setting, the coming millennium looms large.
This is a town meeting that we are holding titled Preparing for an Emergency, including Y2K.
In the tiny towns across Whidbey Island, residents are crowding into community centers, eager to know how Y2K might affect their lives.
This Y2K is a problem. We don't know the extent of the problem. We just know when the problem is going to occur.
If computers fail, residents are concerned that the island could be cut off from power, transport, communications. That's why they've already started to make the usual emergency preparations, setting up generators and alternate power systems.
We've got a few things in here like waterproof matches, fire starter.
Putting together first aid kits and food supplies, and gathering plastic barrels to collect rainwater.
Everybody has homeowners insurance or fire insurance, car insurance, and I just look at this as a form of insurance.
But it's not just individuals and families that are preparing. What makes this effort truly unique is that the entire community is involved. And for the first time ever, neighbors all over the island are organizing to help each other. Volunteers are going door to door, getting to know their neighbors and assessing their needs in case of a Y2K disaster.
Do you have any allergies or anything?
No.
No? Okay.
They're pooling their resources and talents. Maureen Cook is offering classes on how to prepare meals on a propane stove.
As long as people have foodstuffs in their stockpile, then I will teach them how to use that.
Duke LeBaron is giving his neighbors advice on how to raise their own food.
It's a map for the neighborhood group. There you go.
And lest you think these people are extremists, they insist they are not. Their message, they say, is not about fear, but friendship, and about coming together as a community in times of need.
You don't have to be a survivalist and surround yourself with protection if you trust your neighbors.
So I think what it's done is it's opened a dialogue, a conversation, and with the neighborhood, and it's brought us closer together.
The people of this island community say that Y2K has been a blessing in disguise. Deborah Wong, ABC News, Whidbey Island, Washington.
Well, assuming there are no glitches, we'll be back in a moment with an historic move for Dr. Martin Luther King's church.
There is an athlete amongst us, disguised as a mother and a neighbor. And when most of us are still sleeping, she's running. She also takes the vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and folic acid in Women's Ultra Mega Multivitamins made by General Nutrition Centers. Tomorrow, she'll get up and run some more. Women's Ultra Mega Multivitamins made exclusively by GNC. Live strong, live well.
Some things can't be taught in a classroom or found in a textbook. But with Fixodent's long-lasting hold, you'll be ready no matter where the lesson takes you. For long-lasting hold, Fixodent and forget it.
I am the changing face of real estate. I'm an ear, I'm a voice. I am a guarantee. I am Coldwell Banker, and I will sell your home.
Call your local office and discover what real estate should be.
My dad always said, as soon as I get a computer, you'll come out with something better. So to make sure people like Dad have the latest computer, we invented YourWare, technology that grows with you. For just $50 a month, you can buy a computer with internet access, and in 2 years, you can trade it in toward the purchase of a new one.
What do you call this thing?
YourWare.
Call, click, or come in, and we'll build you a performance PC with an Intel Pentium 3 processor.
On 2020 Sunday.
You've lost weight, a bunch. Now, do you need a total body lift? The ultimate plastic surgery. Wait till you see this on 2020 tonight.
Then, this lawyer's next client is his son.
Were they your drugs?
No. His next job.
You believe him?
Father.
I got to, don't I?
All new practice. ABC tonight after 2020.
On your local movie screens this weekend, Analyze This drew the biggest audience, making close to $18 million. It's followed by Cruel Intentions and 8mm. We end tonight in Atlanta, where the Ebenezer Baptist Church was rededicated today. It's a new building, but it inherits a proud legacy. In 1914, the maternal grandfather of Martin Luther King Jr. moved the congregation into this two-story brick building right across the street from the new church. In 1960, Dr. King Jr. became the church's assistant pastor, serving under his father.
All in favor, let it be known by standing on your feet.
The church became Dr. King's base as he built the Southern Christian Leadership Conference into a major civil rights organization. Dr. King's last birthday party was held in the church, as was his funeral after he was assassinated in Memphis in April 1968. As the congregation moved into the new church today, many were mindful of the history and tradition of the old.
It's mixed emotions, but we always look forward to the new horizon.
The old church is going to be turned over to the National Park Service. That's our report for tonight. I'm Kevin Newman. For all of us here at ABC News, good night.
Monday. Natural always